You should text that as a mic.
Mom, who's the most
all right. Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Marty Hale, and I will be
a really big
this
child for you.
if you're on, we are giving you guys the privilege to be unmuted so we can hear you, but please mute yourself because we can hear you talk. Otherwise, I'll get everybody. How about that? All right, that's better. Sorry about that for those of you who are listening to all these people talk and stuff. Guys, don't unmute yourself unless we ask you to. It'll help everybody not to speak over each other. Again, if you're just now joining, my name is Marty Hale. I'm your host this evening along with our president, Tommy Cardone, who will be joining us any second. I'm sure you're already on, Tommy. Tommy,
I'm on here, buddy. I'm right here.
Oh, there you are. I see you. All right. Fantastic. So here's what we're going to do. We're doing these a little bit differently than what we've done in the past. We're going to take about 1 to 2 minutes. It's going to be pretty fast and furious. Be courteous. Be courteous. Okay. But here's what we would like for you to do. Hopefully you can see the gallery. You can see hundreds of people from all over the country, literally on here tonight. We may have maxed out our seating limit. I don't know. So don't log off. You might not be able to log back on. But here's what we'd like to do. For those of you who feel comfortable, even if it's your first time joining, we'd love for you to share who you are, just your first name, first and last if you want, and where you're calling in from tonight. We'll take about 2 minutes to do this. Be courteous. Try not to talk over each other. I know it's kind of hard not to, but right in and just tell us who you are, where you're calling in from. Then we'll meet everybody after that. You have to unmute yourself first to do this, okay? And then we'll mute everybody out, and then we'll get started with tonight's presentation. So with that, again, tell us who you are and where you're calling in from.
Roger Miller,
Canada. From Plano, Texas.
Susan Rogers from Utah.
Jerry Stewart calling in from Baltimore, Maryland.
Rick Ayers calling in from Peachland, British Columbia.
Simon from Mississauga, Ontario.
Jay Johnson calling from Houston, Texas.
Janet Bailey calling from Northern Indiana near Chicago.
Daniel Parsons, Longview, Washington.
Curtis Springs, Florida.
Tracy Grow, Nauvoo, Illinois.
Rebecca.
All Hanson, Moore Park, California.
Larry Souza calling from Statesville, North Carolina.
Byron Chapel, Fairview, Utah.
Debbie Mangan, Yonkers, New York.
Ed Anderson.
Aaron Irwin, Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Ed Anderson, Bellevue, Washington. Go Mariners.
Go Hawks.
Wayne Bobbledick from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Justina Lyons from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Leila Michael, Tucson, Arizona.
Lon Lindsay, the Villages, Florida.
Rebecca calling from Georgia.
All right. Well, hey, welcome to the call, everybody. Look, we could literally stay on here and do this for the next 30 minutes. But instead, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the presentation, and then we'll give you a chance at the end. But as you can see, there are folks on here literally from the East Coast to the West Coast, everywhere in between. I mean, I heard states all over the country. And we look forward to not just seeing you guys on the Zoom, but really meeting you in person and getting to know you and becoming friends and building a lifelong relationship and being successful in this business together. So what I want to do is, if you're on here for the very first time, let me tell you just a little snippet about Against All Odds, what it's about. And then I'm just going to give you a brief background about myself. So if you are on here for the very first time, Against All Odds is a company that's fully committed, fully dedicated to helping ordinary people achieve extraordinary goals. Now, why Against All Odds spoke to me, I'll tell you the God's honest truth, be very transparent with you. At the age of 4, my oldest sister died. She was 17. About 6 months later, my mother died. She was 42. Well, it didn't take long for my dad to die. And I don't mean physically, but I mean emotionally, spiritually, financially, lots of different ways, right? He was a single dad of 7 kids. And we lost the home we were living in because he couldn't afford to pay for it anymore. We moved into another one. We lost that one as well. We ended up moving into a trailer house, eventually evicted from the trailer house, moved into a 12-foot long camp trailer, like a little RV trailer. And honestly, it wouldn't have been all that bad. I kind of liked it because I was young at the time. But because I had 7 brothers and sisters, it wasn't a good thing. And, you know, when you think it just can't get any worse, it did. I'll never forget, guys. I won't go through my whole history, but, you know, I go to school, graduate from college, 21 years old, and it's worse than it was when I was, you know, in junior high. Here I am pumping my brakes to get my truck to stop, filling up the radiator every few days because it has a crack about this big. I don't have the money to fix it, so I'm filling it up with water every few days. You know, I'm literally robbing Peter to pay Paul. Like I am using one credit card to pay off another credit card and credit card checks to pay my apartment rent. Not a good place to be, right? Well, I wasn't just sick and tired of being in that place. I was sick and tired of actually being sick and tired. And the guy said, I was talking to this guy about where I was in life and everything. He said, man, have you ever heard that cassette tape by so-and-so? Now, you know, that probably tells you how old I am, but cassette tape, right? And I said, no, I don't even know what you're talking about. And so he gives me a copy of this cassette tape. I don't even remember the guy's name, but I'm driving to work one day in Southwest Fort Worth. I'm coming up to a 4-way stop sign. And remember, I've got to pump my brakes to get my truck to stop, right? Well, as I'm coming up to this 4-way stop sign, I'm pumping my brakes to get it stop. There's a car parked or stopped right in front of me. And there's a child seat in the back seat and a little kid's head, bouncing around that I can see. And I've got a choice to make. I can either crash into the back of this car or I can swerve into the bar ditch, and maybe roll over, flip over, or who knows what, right? Well, just at the time that I'm pumping my brakes to get my truck to stop, the guy on the cassette tape says, when you're no longer just sick and tired, but you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you better get right so that you don't get left. And right at that moment, guys, is when I am pumping my brakes thinking how sick I am of this, of having to drive like this. And all of a sudden, right before I swerved in the bar ditch, my brakes caught, came to a screeching halt. And I was so frustrated. My business was on the left-hand side. I was so frustrated that rather than turning left and going to my business, I literally turned right. Like the speaker said, I went out on a hill in Southwest Fort Worth. For those of you who know where Hewlin Mall is, down in that area, Bryant Irvin. Anyhow, I went up on a hill and I grabbed a Taco Bell bag out of my floorboard and a pen, and I just started writing, like if life could be anything, what would I want it to be? If I could wave a magic wand or sprinkle some pixie dust or twinkle my nose and, life could be, what would it be like? Like, what would I have? Where would I live? What would I, who would I help? What would I want to learn? Where would I want to go? Who would I want to become? And I just wrote all this stuff out on a Taco Bell bag, like on the inside of a Taco Bell bag. Anyhow, true story. It wasn't but just a few days from doing that I was at a place called Golden Corral. For those of you who know, they used to have 99 all you can eat. That's why I was there. Golden Corral. And I ran into a guy who showed me this industry for the very first time at the age of 21. By the time I was 23, because I was at the right place at the right time with the right company, the right people, the right team, I literally became a millionaire by the time I was 23. And I don't say that to impress you at all. I say it to impress upon you that this company and that you and I have a lot in common, because it's not just me, right, that the odds are stacked against. The odds are stacked against all of us. I mean, think about it. The odds of you living over 100 years old, my grandfather lived to 104, but the odds of that happening, of us living to over 100, is less than 1%. The odds of somebody making over $1 million is less than 1%. The odds of you even hearing about this opportunity is less than 1%. So the question is, how do we win when all the odds are stacked against us? Well, first of all, by believing it's possible. Think about this for a minute. Do you know that the odds of you being born are 1 in 400 trillion? That's the odds of you. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from, guys. The odds of you being alive, of you being born, are 1 in 400 trillion. Here's the example. Take all the oceans, combine them into one ocean. Take a life jacket, a life vest, and throw it out into that ocean. The same odds of a sea turtle not only finding that life vest, but sticking its neck through the hole in the vest is 1 in 400 trillion. It's the same odds of you being born as that happening. And so we know it's possible, right? We know it's possible, but it requires making a choice. And it's really a second thing. It's being part of a team, making a choice to be part of a team, right? A choice of to just stop being a spectator, to start believing in yourself again, enough to become a playmaker, a choice to really lay it all on the field, right? A choice to commit to 5 non-negotiables in your life. Now, I want you to think about these for just a moment. Your nutrition, your fitness, your finance, your personal development, and your accountability. You see, at AAO, guys, you're not just playing for yourself. You're playing for a team. And this team, we are going to hold your feet to the fire. You're not going to be allowed to use words like don't or I can't or I'll try anymore, because all those words do is they just give you permission to fail. And what happens when you try out for a team? If you remember playing sports as a kid, when you tried out for a team and you made it, what happened? Well, you showed up to practice every day, right? You were accountable to the coaches and the other players and the other parents. Well, let me tell you what we do against all odds. At AAO, we will push you to become more, to be more, to do more, to live more. Now, what is that worth to you? Think about that for a second. What would it be worth for you if you could go from where you are today to living the life of your dreams and to win against all odds, to literally be able to live without limits? You know that people pay thousands of dollars going to seminars, tens of thousands of dollars going to seminars, hire fitness trainers and life coaches. At AAO, just for as little as $49.95, you can get all of this, okay? But if you're serious about winning, if you're serious about beating the odds, I'm going to highly recommend that you join as a qualified influencer for a one-time fee of $397 and $49.95 a month. And you get a lot of things. We're not going to drill down and go into detail on it, but you're going to receive a month's supply of active greens, which is packed, jam-packed, full of 3 very powerful blends, the most powerful blends I'm aware of. One's an adaptogen and detox blend, one is a greens biomatrix blend, and one is a nitric oxide boost blend. And I'm just going to tell you guys the God's honest truth. If I could only have one product in my entire pantry, it would be this product. I mean, just think about this. You know, nitric oxide alone won the Nobel Prize in 1998. It's been scientifically proven to improve the immune system, the circulatory system, exercise, muscle performance, erectile dysfunction, manage type 2 diabetes, and so much more. It's really the one solution for all of this. But don't take my word for it. Here's what you should do. You should take the before and after test and just see for yourself what it does to your nitric oxide levels. In addition, you also receive your own NFT rewards program that give you company-wide profit sharing and a whole lot of others. If you feel like you missed out maybe on the cryptocurrency boom, well, guess what? It's not too late now, because you get this as part of your $397. You also, last but not least, you also get or receive training from a certified trainer to help you succeed in life and in business. And guys, I'm not just talking about any old training. I'm talking about a training that multi-billion-dollar companies that you know all their names have implemented to millions of people all over the world. And as far as the AAO business, it's simple. It's not easy. It's not easy. It'll be one of the hardest things you've ever done in your life if you really do it. But it is simple because we only do 2 things. I'd love to say, 1, we earn immediate income, and 2, we earn long-term residual, but that's not the 2 things. Now, those 2 things are possible, but that's not the only 2 things we do. We actually gather a handful of customers to try the product Okay. And secondly, we teach other people to do that. It's that simple. Now, doing those two things, you can earn immediate income while building your long-term residuals. So let's talk about the immediate income first. As a qualified influencer, every single time you personally sponsor a qualified influencer, okay, who signs up on AutoShip, you earn a $75 fast start bonus. Now, if you personally sponsor 3 qualified influencers in your first 30 days from joining, you earn a one-time bonus of $225. So it's a total of $450. So you paid $397 to join. You personally sponsor 3 qualified influencers and you make $450. So basically you get your money back and enough to go buy you a steak, right? But there's no limit to the number of qualified influencers that you can sponsor, nor the amount of fast start bonuses that you can earn. I mean, think about it. And these are paid out every single week, but it doesn't stop there. You're going to meet a few simple requirements and get promoted to area influencer. And as an area influencer, every time you personally sponsor a qualified influencer who signs up on AutoShip, you're going to earn the $75 fast start bonus plus a $50 leadership bonus for a total of $125. All right. Every single time you personally sponsor someone, after you become an area influencer, you're going to make 125, 125, 125, 125, 125 every single time you personally sponsor someone. So if you were to personally sponsor 10 people after becoming an area, that's 1,250. Okay. But here's the beauty of it. It doesn't stop there. You see, every single qualified influencer that joins your area team that you didn't even sponsor, you're going to earn $50, $50, $50, $50, $50. Guys, that is paid to unlimited levels. So if 100 people joined your area influencer team, you'd make $5,000. If 1,000 joined, you'd make $50,000. And that's not from you. Those are none from you, okay? But doesn't stop there. Meet a few more requirements and get promoted to regional influencer. As a regional influencer, every time you personally sponsor a new qualified influencer who signs up on AutoShip, you're going to earn the $75 fast start bonus plus the area influencer $50 bonus plus the regional influencer of $50 bonus for a total of $175. Okay? Now, think about that for a minute. So as a regional influencer, if you sponsor 10 people, you'd make $1,750, right? But it doesn't stop with what you do. Every single qualified influencer that joins your regional influencer team, you're going to make $100, $100, $100, $100 to unlimited levels. Let me give you an example of this. Let's say that you're a regional influencer, okay, and you were to sponsor Bob. You'd earn $175. But let's say a week later or whatever, Bob sponsors Susan. You'd earn another $100. And then if Susan sponsors Larry, you earn another 100. Well, if Larry's the go-getter, Larry's the superstar, and Larry sponsors 10 qualified influencers, you're going to earn $1,000. Guys, that's paid to unlimited levels. Look, meet a few more requirements. It works the same exact way. Become a national influencer. And now every time you personally sponsor a qualified influencer who signs up on AutoShip, you're going to get 225, 225, 225. Everyone who joins your national influencer team, you're making 150, 150, 150. Again, paid to unlimited levels. So it works the same way when you get promoted to our top position called international influencer. As an international influencer, every time you personally sponsor a qualified influencer, again, who signs up on AutoShip, that's the little AS there in the little circle, okay? You're going to now earn 250, 250, 250. And every time a qualified influencer joins your international team, you're earning 175, 175, 175. Again, to unlimited levels. But here's probably the most powerful thing of it all. Even when you become an international influencer and you're making those 175s, you're also still making those 150s from your national team. You're still making the 100s from your regional team, and you're making the 50s from your area influencer team, and you're still making everything from your original team. They're all paid in addition to each other, on top of each other. Guys, this is, again, it's paid to unlimited levels, and it doesn't stop there. You see, as a qualified influencer, every qualified influencer that you personally sponsor, you will earn a 20% check match on the leadership bonuses that we just now discussed. So here's an example. Let's say Bob that you sponsored over there. Let's say that Bob became a national influencer, international, regional, it doesn't matter. And he made $10,000 in leadership bonuses. Well, you'd earn a $2,000 check match. It doesn't come from his check. It's in addition to what he earns. And this is regardless of what your personal rank is. So as you can see, there's several ways to earn immediate income while building your long-term residual passive income, which we're going to talk about now. See, you earn a percentage of each influencer's monthly purchase on your team through 10 levels. As an example, if you simply sponsored 3 influencers who they sponsor 3 and that continues 7 times more, you'd be earning a little over $300,000 a month in monthly residual income. And I know for most of you, that just sounds like not even believable, not even possible. It's out there, right? Well, look at it like that, if you will. Some people will be there. I've been there. There's people on this call that have been there. But what if you didn't do that? What if you only earned 10% of that? That's a lot of money. You know what? What if you only did 1%? What if you only did 1% of that? How would that change your life? Well, while you can see the immediate income plus the residual income can be life-changing, if you are real serious about winning, real serious about beating the odds, then I highly recommend you actually become an influencer pro for a one-time fee of $697 and $49.95 a month. Let me tell you why. You receive everything that you received in the qualified influencer package. You get all that, okay? Plus, you get trained as a certified trainer, and you get paid training bonuses for training those that are even not on your team. You also get paid for your teammates being trained, whether you do the training or not. Let me repeat these two, okay? As an influencer pro, you're going to become a trainer in the company. You get trained on how to train, whether you like to train or not, whether you ever do a training or not, you still get paid. Let me explain it. You get paid training bonuses for training people, even those that are not on your team, okay? You also get paid for your teammates being trained as trainers, whether you do the training or not. Guys, I can't even express what this could mean for you. But here's how the money works. As a trainer, you earn from $40 to $100 for each influencer that you personally train, regardless of whose team they're on. You also get paid training bonuses from $25 to $200 per person for trainers on your team getting trained. Again, whether you do the training or not. It works the same way as the leadership bonuses. This is paid to unlimited numbers. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you've ever met them. Doesn't matter if you know their name. Guys, it has nothing to do with that. Okay? Look, we start off by saying the odds are stacked against us, right? And they are. The odds are stacked against every man, woman, and child. They always have been. They always will be. It's called life and death and everything that happens between these two, right? But here's what I want you to remember. Man, success doesn't know what color you are, whether you're white, black, red, brown, or yellow. It doesn't know whether you're tall, short, fat, or skinny. It doesn't know how you were raised or how you weren't raised. Success only knows those that beat the odds. You see, success comes to all colors, all shapes, all sizes, but it only comes to winners. You know, Tom Brady is a perfect example. He was a backup quarterback for a team whose record was 0-8. A backup quarterback for a team that was 0-8, didn't win a game. Backup quarterback for that team. Ain't saying much, right? He didn't even get to run a single play his first year of college because the team did not trust him to touch the football. You got to think about that. In the NFL draft, he was picked 199th. But Tom Brady was determined to win. He was determined to win against all odds. And today he has 7 Super Bowl wins and is considered the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. And guys, we could talk about Michael Jordan and Bethany Hamilton and Kobe Bryant and Simone Biles and Ronda Rousey and Babe Ruth, Wilma Rudolph, and so many other athletes. But it's not just athletes that have to fight, that have to beat the odds, have to win against the odds. Guys, it's every business person. It's every entrepreneur that you and I have ever heard of. Right? I mean, take Stephen Jobs and Stephen Wozniak for an example. They together, these two gentlemen, one sold his Volkswagen van, the other sold his HP calculator, and together they had $1,350. And they started Apple Computers. Now, can you imagine, which at one time was the biggest company in the world, but can you imagine, forget Apple, just trying to do AAO without a vehicle? I mean, the odds are stacked against you, right? But they went on to build one of the largest companies in the world. 2 teenage boys delivered packages on their bicycles from one business to another business in Seattle, Washington. 2 teenage boys. They would divvy up their money underneath a bridge in the middle of the day. You know the name of that company? UPS. Can you imagine what their parents said to them as they were out there starting their own company? And it grew to $192 billion market cap. At one time, I think it's bigger than that today. 2 teenagers. You know, Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft, his parents actually thought that there was something wrong with him mentally, psychologically. And so when he was 12 years old, they put him in a mental institute. Talking about odds being stacked against you, getting strapped down on a table, somebody pumping your veins full of chemicals that you don't need. You're just not like the other kids. You actually have dreams and goals and aspirations. Odds stacked against him. I can tell you about Philip Knight, the founder of Nike tennis shoes, selling Japanese sneakers out of the back of his station wagon at college track meets. Odds stacked against him. J.C. Penney's, his own kids did intervention with him because not only did he take a second mortgage out on his own home and lose it, he convinced his kids to take out second mortgages on their homes, and they all lost them. So they just knew something was wrong with their father. So when he was like in his 60s, they intervened. You know what I'm talking about? Like a drug addict or an alcoholic where your family intervenes. They sit you down and say, no mas, no more. You're getting help, whether you like it or not. They did that to J.C. Penney. But guys, when he died at the age of 92, he had a net worth of $2.2 billion. You think the odds weren't stacked against that old guy, his own kids doing that to him? I can't imagine. Guys, we could go on. I could talk about Sarah Blakely, Ray Kroc, Rebecca Newman, Fred Smith, Sam Walton, and the list goes on and on and on. But it's not just athletes. It's not just entrepreneurs. Guys, it's literally every human, every man, every woman, every child that has ever played the game of life. The odds were stacked against them. And they're stacked against you right now, no matter how much money you have, how much money you don't have. It doesn't matter. The odds are stacked against you. But as we started off, we know it's possible. We know that you are possible. So here's the question. Would you rather join Against All Odds as a qualified influencer for $397 or become a pro for $697? Look, the choice is yours, okay? But make the choice. Make the choice. Here's something a guy told me a long time ago. I've never forgot it. If $397 or $697 is a problem for you tonight, and you've been working for the last 4 or 5 years, I don't know what you've been working at, but it ain't working. I mean, right? I mean, think about that. I've got the right to say that because I've been there. It ain't working. If you can't afford that amount after working 4 or 5 years, where are you going to be if you keep doing the same thing for 4 or 5 more years? You're going to be in the same situation. So you don't have a choice. You don't have a decision, right? Man, I'll never forget when I first got in this industry, I wasn't poor. I was poor. Like I literally could have spelled the word poor with like 5 O's. You've probably heard what the word poor actually stands for, right? It stands for passing over opportunity repeatedly. Let me say that again. POOR, P-O-O-R, stands for passing over opportunities repeatedly. Now stamp that on your decision-making process tonight. You know, I really believe. I believe with all my heart. I know for a fact. It's not a belief. It's not something like that. I know without knowing you that you were born for something more than going to work, paying your bills, and dying. I believe that you were born to overcome. I believe that you were born to thrive. I believe that you were born to win. And yes, I believe that you were born to win against all the odds. I believe that you were created to make the world a better place. But do you know the only way for you to change the world is to first change your world? And I believe it's probably not a coincidence that you're on this Zoom tonight. See, I think it starts with you joining this team, getting off the bench and getting back in the game, going all in and laying it all on the field. So you see, I'm just telling you guys, where else are you going to find a team of individuals that are like-minded, that are willing to believe in you more than you are willing to believe in you? A team that will hold you accountable to your goals, to your dreams, to your aspirations. Where are you going to find that? Look, on the other side of the fence, if 397 or 697 is a drop in the bucket for you, the last thing you want to do is treat it like that. One of my best friends, a guy by the name of Steve Smith, went from selling chili peppers on the side of Highway 71 about 2 miles from where I'm sitting right now, selling chili peppers out of the back of a borrowed station wagon, to investing a few $100s into this industry in 1989. And from that moment, 4 years later, to making over $1 million a month. That's not an arbitrary number, over $1 million, guaranteed by the IRS, because they wrote an article on him in Forbes magazine about him owing the IRS $25 million and getting away with it legally, making over $1 million a month in residual income. And Steve used to always say, man, I'll never forget, he passed away a couple of years ago, but he used to always tell people, man, if you've never made $1 million a month, you ought to try it. It's a lot of fun. And he was something. I've always said that when you find a way to make the most amount of money in the least amount of time through the path of least resistance, you'll discover the difference between just another opportunity and true success. You just found the way, what you just saw tonight, but it's up to you to discover the difference. I'd love to be the first to welcome you to the Against All Odds team. But before we close out tonight, I have one announcement, and I think we may come to you guys. One announcement, and then I will open it up for a second. We have some training and some live in-person meetings coming up in Salt Lake City, Utah, and Park City, Utah. All right, I'm going to tell you about those here in just a moment. In fact, let me just go ahead and tell you right now. So November the 3rd through the 5th, Dan, Tommy, JC, Travis, myself, lots of leaders in the company will all be in Salt Lake City and in Park City, Utah, November the 3rd through the 5th this year, because it's either Thursday or Friday night. Don't quote me yet, but Thursday or Friday night, we're going to have an open opportunity meeting in person. There'll probably be, 300-400 people there in person. And then we'll do a qualified influencer training immediately following that. The next day, we're going to do an area training in live in person. And then on the 4th, we are doing, I think it's the 4th, whatever. I think it's the 4th. Don't hold me to that. Is it the 4th, Tommy, or the 5th? Saturday, we're doing
it's
live.
The 5th, Marty.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. And this will go up, guys. You'll be getting communications and emails and social media and back office and everything else. But the 5th, we're doing a regional influencer, regional training school. Okay. Let me explain what that means. Anybody can come to the opportunity meeting. Qualified influencers can stay for the training, even if you already been trained. For the next day, the area training in person, if you are a qualified influencer or influencer pro, or if you've even already been trained as an area trainer, you can attend that as well. And that's for free. All of that's for free. Okay. Both of those, all three of those are for free. On Saturday, November the 5th, in order to attend the regional training school, you have to at least be an area influencer and area trainer and went through the area training program already. And then you can go to the regional training school. That will be in Park City. Okay. And that's live. It's in person. And you want to make plans today, tonight, to be at these. Let me tell you why you want to be at these so bad. Uh-oh, I'm getting hit by Dan. Maybe I'm making the wrong announcements. I see. We're maxed out on here. There's people upset didn't get in on time. Sorry. Kudos to you guys who were on time, right? So short story, man, I moved to Mexico City, Mexico, of all places, to play football for the World League. This was a long time ago, before most of you were probably born. All right. Anyhow, and I was in great shape fitness wise, my health was pretty decent, and I got this wild hair to learn how to surf one weekend. And so I caught the bus on a Friday night, like at midnight, ended up in Acapulco Saturday morning, like at 6 a.m. It's like a 6-hour drive. So I took the whatever you call that. I can't remember. I don't do that very often, but whatever it is, where you supposedly sleep, right? I get there. Long story short, here's what happened. I hire a coach, an instructor to teach me how to surf. His name was Felipe. I'll never forget Felipe. He teaches me everything on the beach and stuff, and I stretch and I do it all. And we go through this forever. It seemed like an hour. And I just wanted to get in the water. Just let me go surf. Just let me do it, man. I'm good. I know how to slalom ski. I know how to do all this stuff. Just get me out there. Well, I thought I was in shape. We jump in the water and we take off, paddling out there. And, he showed me how to either flip over upside down or to ride over the wave, depending on how big it was. And anyhow, I get through 4 or 5 of these waves and they get pretty sporadic, right? Like one after the next, after the next, after the next. And man, I would roll over and then come back up or dive down and come back up. And all of a sudden, man, this wave just hit me right in the face. My mouth was open. I was taking a big thing of air and slammed me down to the bottom of the ocean. I literally hit sand. This is as I'm swimming out. Okay. Hit the bottom of the ocean and I get turned around and man, I'm lost and I'm choking up. I come up and right when I go to, try to choke up, another wave hits me. This happens 2 or 3 times and I am scared. Like I am literally scared for my life at this point. Well, fortunately I come up, there's not a wave. I choke all this water up and I get past the break and I'm sitting on my board out there in the middle of the ocean trying to, recover from this traumatic experience that I had. And I don't know about you, but I watched Jaws when I was a teenager. Okay. When I was in junior high, I watched Jaws or maybe elementary school. I don't know when it was, but every time I go in the ocean, I hear the music. And for those of you who have the same issue, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? Da, na, 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 na. When Jaws was coming for them, that's what I hear every time I'm out there and my feet are dangling. Well, I'm sitting on a surfboard, my feet are straddling the board and I'm hearing Jaws and I'm like, man, get me back in there. I didn't even think about it when I signed up for this. And so I'm like, Felipe, okay, I got to get back in there. He said, no, you got to wait. You got to wait until I tell you when to start paddling the right wave and all this. And so long story short, guys, he says, whatever you do, do not hesitate. When I say go, you drop down on your board and you start paddling as hard as you possibly can. Do not look for the wave. Don't wait till you see it. You better just trust me. Yep, I got you. Well, Felipe, it was another 5, 7, 10 minutes goes by and he goes, okay, go. And I'm looking out there to try to see the wave that Felipe sees. And I don't see a wave. And I'm like, man, I'm so tired and exhausted. I don't have a lot left in the tank, so I can't start paddling just yet. And then all of a sudden I saw the swell and I dropped down on the board and I started paddling as hard as I possibly could. And you probably know what happened to me. The swell came, went right up underneath me and broke and went on to the beach. And here I am. I didn't catch the wave, right? Well, this happens 3 or 4 more times to the point that I'm questioning whether or not I have enough in the tank to get back to shore. And I'm still hearing Jaws. Okay. Finally, I do catch a wave. And fortunately, of course, I was bouncing on the board. I didn't look real good. You know, I didn't necessarily get to stand up and do all the fancy stuff, but I did catch it. And I'm pop, 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 I'm hitting the water like this, you know, and finally kind of get up on one foot and one knee down, you know, and then finally, man, as I'm getting closer, I kind of stand up for a minute and then bam, you know, face dive into the sand. But anyhow, I did make it. I literally rode it almost all the way to the beach. I tell you that story because of this. When those waves, when Felipe was saying, go, 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 and I was looking for it and I was hesitating and I was waiting, it cost me. Because when I would try to catch that wave after I saw it and then I tried to catch it, it was too late. And when I missed the wave, it was literally impossible to catch it. I couldn't catch back up to it. Right? But when I trusted the expert, when I trusted the guy who had been there and done it 1,000 times, he knew what he was looking for, knew what the wave looked like, knew the timing, knew when to paddle. The time that I finally, which was the very last time when he said, "Good," he didn't even say go. He said, "Good." And I dropped down on my board and started paddling as fast as I possibly could. And literally, guys, the wave didn't catch me right when I dropped down. I was giving out and I was tired. And I was getting to where I was thinking, man, is this thing ever going to catch up? Is it ever going to catch up? And then all of a sudden, boy, it caught me. And when it did, I didn't have to exert any more energy. That wave just pushed me. The energy of that just pushed me to the beach. The reason why I tell you that story is this. There's a wave that's on the horizon. There is a wave that is building right now. And it's called Against All Odds. And you don't have time to wait. You don't have time to hesitate. You don't have time to procrastinate. You can believe me or not believe me. It's going to happen. And there's people on this Zoom right now that are going to go from zero to hero. They're going to go from selling chili peppers out of the back of a borrowed station wagon to making huge, stupid, filthy, stinking rich kind of money on a monthly residual basis. And there's going to be others who are going to say, do you know, I was a part of that company in the first few months. And I got, you know, frustrated with this or frustrated with that or upset about this or that. And man, I decided not to do it. And you might even blame the company. You might blame your upline. You might blame your downline. You might blame somebody else. But the only one to blame is yourself for not dropping down on that surfboard and paddling as hard as you possibly can in order to catch the wave. You see, whether you catch it or not, it's going to come. But if you do catch it, it can change your life. Being at these events that we're talking about, if you really are serious about catching the wave in a big way, I would do whatever it takes. I would sell my TV, hawk my car, whatever you got to do. I would be in person, belly to belly, face to face, in the middle of this thing in Utah come November. So with that, I want to thank you guys for joining. I went over tonight. I want to apologize for that. What I do want to do is ask Tommy. Tommy, do you have anything to add to tonight? Any announcements we need to make that I forgot that I left off?
I just want to remind everybody that we've got the Qualified Influencer Training tomorrow night. I've put out a couple of emails, and I'm going to be doing a reminder email tomorrow to remind people of the Qualified Influencer Training that's going on tomorrow night. Have you scheduled any of the other area influencer trainings to come up in between now and when we're going to be in Park City?
I will schedule those tomorrow. So you guys be looking in your back office, I think there is another one scheduled. You just got to type in Marty Hale. One word, just type in Marty Hale.
Okay, I didn't see it. I'll go look for that. So as soon as I can get straight on that tomorrow, in addition to the Qualified Influencer Training that we're doing tomorrow, I'm going to let people know the dates that we've got scheduled for that area training. The training for area trainers is what we call it.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, hey, look, I was going to go to you guys, but I went over. I'm sorry. I stole some time up front. Let's do this. Next time, make sure you're on before 8 o'clock, and we'll get to hear from you. You can introduce yourself and stuff, and then we'll take some testimonies on the product, on the opportunity. We'll get to hear from some of you guys next Monday, okay? I really want you to get the opportunity to share, whatever it is that you would like to share. All right. So with that, thank you guys for joining. Tommy, thank you for everything you do. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night or whenever it is on the next training or the next opportunity Zoom. All right. Goodbye for now.